Lagos, thank you very much for joining us. This is Smooth 98.1. It's your smoothest dial on radio, and you're in time for the Locker Room 981, and that is the hashtag to join us with on Twitter, especially when you're sending in messages. Please add that hashtag Locker Room 981, or you can send messages to
0809 That's our WhatsApp number. Once again, it's 0809
and that's Coyote's voice. Another voice you'll be hearing during this show is Ayo's voice. Hi, Ayo. Good morning.
Hello, Valentine.
Good
How you
morning
doing?
to
I'm
you.
very well, thank you. And you?
Very well. Fantastic. For a Monday morning. And Tega is here. She seems to be happy. I'm not sure, Tega.
I'm not. Oh, this is 3 minutes into locker room. You people will give me my time. Is all I'm saying. Good morning, Lagos.
Good morning. All right, let's start with this first story. Lanzo Ball expected to miss 46 weeks with a grade 3 left ankle sprain. So just when it looked like the Los Angeles Lakers were turning the corner on an injury-riddled season, Lanzo Ball is expected to miss 46 weeks with grade 3 left ankle sprain. The team announced this yesterday. Now, Ball suffered the injury in the third quarter of the Lakers' 138 to 134 overtime loss to the Houston Rockets on Saturday, and an MRI administered on Sunday in Los Angeles confirmed the severity of the sprain. Poor guy.
Yes, the poor Lakers. At this rate, even if they do manage to make it to the playoffs, how healthy can they be to make any impact? That's how questionable it is. Um, too many injuries this season, and I know it's not something that you usually see with LeBron, that he'd be out with injuries the way he's been out, but I mean he's not getting any younger, and the game is not getting any easier. So and it's key guys that are picking up these injuries. So you get into a playoffs and say maybe a Rajon and a James is struggling with injury, then what can the team really do to any other opposition they face in the playoffs? So it's an interesting one to see how the rotation would be. I think they have to go into the G League now to get back one of their players to come and play for them. It's just a tough ask. So that Lakers roster is just beginning to look like it needs to get bigger. But that also means with the salary cap and everything, who's going, who's staying, and all that. So there's a lot of drama to be there.
Interesting times. And Lagos is raining, eh?
It's raining
Wow.
heavily.
I am shocked.
To hear it in this place.
The 21st of January 2019. Let's see if the other story will heat up the atmosphere.
All right. Okay, moving away from basketball and going to football. African champions bounce back in style, Tega. So Thomas Denaby's side scored 3 times in the final 25 minutes to beat Romania 4-1 in Lisboa.
Yes. So the Super Falcons, well, you know, when you read the headlines, you can be a little misguided. There's one bounce back, there's one Super Falcons finished third, but it's a 4-nation tournament. So when you finish third in a 4-nation tournament, what does that mean you finish?
That's such a bad spot to be in.
In as much as
At least take one position.
They'll be alright.
No, that's the thing. If you're last, they'll know you for being in that position. You're securing it. The second is where you're neither here nor there.
You didn't fail, you didn't succeed. You
No,
just...
but our Super Falcons for a very long time have performed, brilliantly. So they allowed once in a while,
not on the world stage. They've always been questionable on the world stage, and so this is expected. It's not like it's strange, but I would say this: they lost the first game to the Chinese. They came back with the game against Romania, and then next month they're up to Cyprus, and they'll be playing other people on the world that are on the world stage. Nigeria is in a group that has France in it. France just beat the US women's team 3-0, 3-1 over the weekend. So there's no it can be bloody. So I like the preparation that the Super Falcons are facing. You get to see this opposition a little more regularly than they would see. Usually they're used to facing African continent, so 11 brothers and 11 sisters, whichever one the NFF chooses. But recently, because of this, the noise in the media, the NFF have decided to sit up, do their job, and they are going to get these ladies a lot of quality opposition. So this was a good tournament to at least measure how ready or how prepared Nigeria is for the World Cup coming in June
on an international
level. So Cyprus would be another test for Nigerians, and they will see how we're going to brag before we go. You know, if you're very hopeful, you brag so much. If you're not,
But for now, just keep your voice
just
low.
be patriotic.
Yeah.
So I'm Nigerian. Politely.
Exactly. And just be very nice to everybody you see, in case.
All right, let's talk about our next story, and this one's about Roger Federer. He plans to play clay court season after Australian Open
Wait
exit.
on.
Okay, so Roger Federer says he plans to play the clay court season after skipping it for 2 successive years, admitting he has missed not doing it. And I don't know, he lost out to Stefanos Tsitsipas, but I don't. What are your thoughts?
This is well for me. I think Roger is now playing fast and loose with us. What it is on first of all, let me go into the French Open. I don't think right now he's under no pressure. I mean, you after the press conference, you could tell he was not happy to be out of the Australian Open, but he didn't look like the Roger that usually puts himself under pressure. He was just like, yeah, I've won 20 Grand Slams. You guys get over yourselves. That's the attitude he had. Like, I have really nothing to prove, and it's good on the one hand, but it also keeps, Roger fans are saying this retirement may be coming soon, because he's really literally now just playing for fun.
Yes.
And so when he's saying he's coming to the French Open, trust me, he's not saying that I'm coming there to beat Rafa or I'm coming there to win. He's going to put in all the effort because he's very professional. He's a perfectionist. He's going to put in the best, but he's not going to lose any sleep if he crashes out. It's that simple. Going to the match against Tsitsipas, it's amazing. He's trained with Tsitsipas several times. Flew him to Dubai to train. He's one of those young guys that Roger has enjoyed Roger's money. But what Tsitsipas has been doing from Tsitsipas. Roger is Tsitsipas' idol, no doubt. Even his one-handed backhand can tell you, because he practices it every time he watches Roger Federer. But what it was Roger Federer's shots, some of them, especially the ones closer to the net, he wasn't feeling it on the day, and because he knows that he wasn't feeling those shots, he couldn't vary his shots as well as he'd like to, which meant that he couldn't draw Tsitsipas from the baseline, which is where Tsitsipas is comfortable. So Tsitsipas recognized that Roger was struggling with his calibrations and his rhythm on the day, and Tsitsipas just put him on that baseline and beat him well there. Because you don't a rally that is longer than 4 to 6 shots, Roger would most likely lose in that rally. And Tsitsipas was like, "Now we are going to make these rallies long." So Roger could have gone on to play for 2 days. It wasn't his stamina that was in question. It wasn't his age. Others would have saying Roger is old. No, it was that Tsitsipas tactically kept Roger playing on the baseline by hitting his shots deep and hard. And so Roger was on the baseline consistently, which is not where he'd like to stay. He'd like to move around. He'd like to control rallies. He wasn't in control of anything from after the. In fact, even in the first set where Roger won, he wasn't really in control, which is why the tiebreak went on for as long as I think 11 or 13 points at some point. So Tsitsipas did a good job, beat Roger well. And now he's on to the next one. I don't know that he can win his next game, but this win alone.
I was just going to say, is he going to win?
No,
the tournament?
his year is made. There's no need.
I think
One scalp is okay.
winning the tournament is a stretch.
One scalp is okay.
As it seems. Legacy, you're listening to The Locker Room here on Smooth 98.1. Remember to send in your messages. We have a WhatsApp number. It is 0809 444 0981. So send that message in. Let us know exactly what your thoughts are regarding the stories we're treating. We're taking more of the stories right after this.
This is IDK Spaceship Boy. Spaceship Boy. Every time I'm on the road, I always have to dial 98.1.
Yes, yesterday was the same. On the mainland, I told you.
You got new shoes? Yes, I love them. They're cheap.
Be thankful that we go ahead before it started.
I know.
I don't believe it's raining this much. I don't like rain at all.
Okay, so we can come back with this message because it reacts to the last story we just
Okay.
analyzed.
And then we must read the women's tennis. Quality.
Naomi Osaka, yes. Shop easy.
Shows how many times you've listened.
You can't even help it. You just catch yourself singing.
Is this media illusion?
My time is going.
You know the funny thing? I think I said this before. I always thought it was Indian lotion, not
Me
Indian.
Yeah.
neither. Do you like
True.
it?
Indian
Or
lotion.
Indian Ocean?
Afana, questions.
I
You have the question?
Oh, questions. Oh, okay. So, I saw an interview he did, and so the person he's competing against, the incumbent in Lagos West, is Solomon Adiola, and apparently he's also vying for Ogun State governorship this time. But I don't know how far he's gone, because I don't know how far. I don't know how far. So it's in the interview, some of the key things he said he wanted to do that was quite interesting was number one, the Lagos State power, independent power source. So maybe touch on that, particularly because the recent administration have said that power has been at its best, for a very long time. So why push that? Then there was one other point that he mentioned that he was going to look at. So with regards to what he hopes to do, just to ask questions around that. Then also the fact that he's very young. He's 35.
Yeah.
That's a huge factor. He's 35 going. I don't know who the youngest senator is, but I would assume that he's probably one of the youngest aspirants. Yes, I love that. So we could link that to, I'm trying to link that to Not Too Young to Wrong Bill, which was obviously passed in Senate.
And one of the presidential candidates
Yeah, one of the
was disqualified.
candidates is here.
Really bad.
Alright guys, we're going back on air studio. Buta, mics are up. Especially the lightning you just heard. Lagos, you're listening to The Locker Room. Here we talk sports, and of course you're listening to Smooth 98.1. Please send in your messages through WhatsApp to 0809 444 0981. On this side of The Locker Room, you'll be hearing the Uncle Bru Bru, who's beat the odds to be here in the studio with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Jesus loves you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have this message in here. This is from Chinwe Nancy.
Alright, Chinwe says, this Aussie Open is getting interesting. Federer, Zverev, Muguruza, Kiba all out for that ex-drug cheat, Sharapova. Since her comeback from drug ban, she hasn't gone into Grand Slam semis. Guess she needs to settle some scores.
So still talking ladies in sports. So Naomi Osaka Elina Svitolina, they're edging their way into the quarterfinals. So United States Open champion Naomi Osaka came from behind to beat Latvia Sevastova and reached the Australian Open quarterfinals. The Japanese fourth seed won 4-6, 6-3, 6-4 to set up a meeting with sixth seed Elina Svitolina. Now, Ukraine's Svitolina triumphed 6-2, 1-6, 6-1 in a pulsating encounter with former United States Open finalist Madison Keys.
Yes, and these girls are pounding it on court every day. It seems they're more big hitters right now in the women's game, and it's just showing. With Naomi Osaka, I think the way has been really paved for her. Like Chinwe Nancy mentioned, Angelique Kerber was knocked out yesterday. That was gladdening.
Really? Why?
And then Meldonium Pova also was knocked out. So
That's the person's name, or that's the
Sharapova. Good morning. But I think what made Sharapova, so she was obviously upset that she was knocked out, and it seemed the crowd was also happy that she was knocked out because they were booing from halfway through when she took a toilet break.
You won't be upset.
They thought she was being too
Emotional?
No, she was being too dramatic and too snooty. So she came back on court, they booed her, she played, she lost, and the crowd seemed happy.
Wow.
And then to make matters worse, she's dealing with that crowd, and then she's dealing with a loss, and then she gets to the press room and somebody asked her that, since you stopped taking Meldonium, do you
I'm
think
telling
that's
you.
what affected it? I kid you not. I'm like, these press people,
Because
can you
they-
be a little more
They
decent
wouldn't
about
let
it?
it go. They wouldn't let it
Well,
go.
how can they? What makes you call her here? How does that help?
Exactly.
I didn't ask her the question. I just
You were
said
thinking it,
I just said it.
but you're thinking
But
it.
it seemed like look, it's not a really fair question to ask. But when you've been caught as a drug cheat, and it seems that you can't do anything since after that, those questions are likely to come. And so she was like, next question. And then they asked her that, oh, the crowd that was booing you, what do you think the crowd treated you unfair? She says, what do you want me to answer to that? Next question. I think pretty much her answer yesterday was next question. So it wasn't a good tournament, and I think she's going to be doing a lot of she's going to have to do a lot of PR um, for the in preparation for the next big tournament, because those press people are not forgiving. But Naomi Osaka now looks, apart from Serena in the draws, Naomi Osaka looks good. Maybe Pliskova, but the thing with Pliskova is she's not a heavy hitter. She has good swings, but she's not a heavy hitter. So sometimes she can fall to heavy hitters. Muguruza's out, Madison Keys is out. Yeah, it just really leaves Serena Williams. So if you ask me, I wouldn't mind having the US Open rematch this time without any umpire drama. That would be nice.
Okay.
All right. Okay, moving away from that and going to one of the biggest sports stories of the weekend, particularly because of the surprising turn, as a lot of people thought naturally that Chelsea would trash Arsenal. Apologies to the Arsenal fans out there. I know you're looking at me like, what are you saying? Well, many people thought so. Even Arsenal fans, if they're being honest. Well, Chelsea put in a disappointing performance as they were beaten 2-0 at Arsenal on Saturday. Now, some of the Chelsea teammates have defended defended Sarri, saying that what he has done until now is unbelievable, amazing. Because normally, for a team to understand his philosophy, it needs 1 or 2 years. So they're asking people to give him more time. And I see Tega laughing, but it wasn't funny for Chelsea team supporters and players. But Arsenal trashed them.
I had to do a double take at the screen. Wait, is this Chelsea?
Can I tell you a funny story? So my husband is a big Arsenal supporter, and before the match started, he wasn't even interested in watching because they're going to beat us. So we saw it before halftime, and they'd beaten and given them 2-0. And it was quite surprising. So that's why I said even Arsenal fans were not expecting
I'm sure they
that kind
have
of.
reached like 7 roundabouts and they turn back and say, oh, let's go back to Ajah to watch this match. They're winning.
Okay, so when you consider how relatively, in terms of poor, in terms of standards of poor,
Yes.
how poor they were against a West Ham team in the previous week, you can understand why Arsenal fans might have been watching that game with a measure of hesitation. That said, they started brightly. Contrast that with the Chelsea side that literally didn't turn up. Eden Hazard, you can tell when Chelsea is going to have a problem just by the way Eden Hazard is playing and his body language. And it was telling for me at the end of that game when Sarri said that some Chelsea players are difficult to motivate.
Yes.
I believe that he was speaking about one person and one person only, and that's Eden Hazard. And that feeds into all the rumors. Then he's refused to sign a contract extension.
Okay.
The rumors about Real Madrid swelling. He didn't look like a guy who was happy. You can also argue to an extent that Sarri's intransigence in wanting to play Sarri ball and eliminating or making use of the two effectively centre forwards that are in the team to give Chelsea someone that he can probably play better off. Some people, there's a school of thought that Sarri is sabotaging Chelsea's just to be able to get the kind of players that he wants in. Jorginho had an atrocious game, and one would argue that that was also to a very large extent the fact that Unai Emery had decided that Aaron Ramsey was going to do everything else, ignore everything else and just chase him all over the pitch. And for those who constantly ask why Mesut Ozil is constantly on the bench, it is games like this where you have a plan, where you have a strategy. This is why he sits on the bench. He would not have been able to apply the intensity required to follow Jorginho about. He's a casual sort of person.
He's a luxury player.
And the way Unai Emery's philosophy is and wants to play does not support that kind of thing. So how you're going to afford to spend 350,000 a week on the bench is a decision for the Arsenal board and stuff and people to go on. But that said, it was unbelievable to see how poorly Chelsea played in that game. That's not to say that that's the reason. I mean, Arsenal upped their game. They knew that if they lost that game, the challenge for top four would be out, and everybody and their dog will be laughing at them.
Yes.
That Manchester United, who were 8 points away, caught up with them and conveniently left them like in 6th place. So there was a lot riding on that game. Good performance for them. The problem with Arsenal, as has been under Wenger and even under Emery, is whether they can consistently deliver that kind of A-grade performance.
Terrible.
And all the Arsenal fans go,
All right, let's move on to our next story. This one here talks about Ousmane Dembele. He gave Barcelona a glimpse into the future, but Barcelona still needed Lionel Messi to beat Leganes 3-1 on Sunday and restore their 5-point lead at the top of La Liga. Now, Messi had started on the bench for just over an hour, and Dembele filled the void by scoring the opening goal in a sparkling individual display.
Yes, Ousmane Dembele seems to have all these tricks, and he has the right tricks for just score a goal and you're late coming to training and everything else will be forgiven. But clearly, without Messi, it's not like the talent or the quality on the pitch is diminished per se. It is more there is no structure when they are there. So Coutinho gets the ball and he doesn't know what to do with it, and Suarez is waiting in the 18-yard box and nothing is coming, and Ousmane Dembele is trying to outrun everybody. He thinks it's a sprint competition. So there's just a lot more individuals doing their own individual thing without any focus and direction, and I think that's what Barcelona and Valverde is going to have to work out, because they eventually are going to have to rest Messi, which is what they tried to do yesterday. Unfortunately, they still had to bring the little man in. But what it is that the La Liga this year is getting tougher. There are no easy matches. You have to struggle for every point. I mean, look at the way Real Madrid were celebrating that last-minute goal by Luka Modric with their lives. These guys have won UEFA Champions League. I haven't seen them celebrate that way.
much.
So
It came at a great cost.
it's a very tough season. It's a grind season, and teams are going to have to grind it out. That being said, with Messi on your team, it's kind of like a cheat code, because guy comes on the pitch, notices that the Leganes players had packed the box. He takes one shot from outside the 18-yard box. Goalkeeper couldn't hold it, and then Luis Suarez did his thing. He literally rushed to the goalkeeper and put that ball in the back of the net. And then the third goal, of course, was Lionel Messi himself. So sometimes it's that cheat code that is really giving Barcelona the edge. Without him, there needs to be, and I think they have the players to do it, but they have to find a way where they can play for 90 minutes without Lionel Messi, with focus and purpose. Valverde, that's your job.
All right, just bring down the pressure on one man. Emeka sent in a message, says, Arsenal demystified Chelsea on Saturday. I have not recovered from that shock defeat. Wow. Benson Soari says, hi, me and cousin. No, wrong show. Thank you very much. Paula says, no, Donian Pova, love it. We'll take it over Dopapova any day. Glad she's out. Looking forward to the rest of what has been an exciting tournament. And we'll have this other one from Gumbia, the real one.
Getting Sarri sacked might be Jorginho's first assist in EPL. Why are you laughing at me, Tega? It's not fair. With Kane injured, it didn't take long for Llorente to show that he can score goals. Man United do quick and enter top 4. I beg.
I like that vision. Enter top 4. Because we do have to take a break. We'll be back to take more of the stories here inside of the locker room.
You owe me 3 minutes, 3 minutes,
Siri.
and I'm collecting all. What's the next story?
Chievo, yeah?
Okay, so Juventus.
It was that
They're
Sarri
playing
name. I was like, oh my goodness, why did you mention names?
That it's sorry now.
Maurizio.
No, the second one,
Maurizio.
Maurizio, what did I say?
No, you
You didn't say, you just said sorry.
didn't say anything. You just said sorry. You were right.
No, there was another
Oh, that was
one.
the message. The message only said
Oh,
sorry.
Jorginho.
Oh.
No, you got it right.
You got it.
Let me see. Yeah, Yogi. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, because it's a is it Italian or Spanish?
Is he Italian or Brazilian?
yeah.
He's actually a Brazilian, so it's a
Yeah.
Portuguese name. So
Portuguese
you're right.
names.
You're right,
Jorginho,
Jorginho.
yeah. I was like, oh my goodness, no, I hate all these names
He's
because.
Sorry, he's of Brazilian descent. Let's be politically correct.
Have you?
But what does it identify as?
Italy.
He claims to be Italian.
Well, the language is
Brazilian.
Portuguese.
It's Portuguese.
So his name is Portuguese. His papa from Portugal. He is from Italy. But he will now return and say, I'm the son of the soil and go to Brazil and rape them.
Ah.
It's true now. That's what they all do. You know how they do in Nigeria. Go to Nigeria, come and be raping people of their money. And I call it rape for a good reason. I believe the authority is going to do this to me. But I'm expecting him to be consistent as usual. So Juventus is playing today.
Please tell Lakumi to print his stories for the interview, yeah?
Oh, the guy has come.
Is it yet? I don't know.
Yeah, the last one he did, I heard the last election was as local government chairman. I remember because it was not a position as high as senator. When I heard he was running for senate, I was like, that's really reaching high. Yeah, ambitious. And there's nothing wrong with it. And it's not, I like the fact that he didn't come to Lagos Central, obviously, because that's Tinubu's, Remy Tinubu's constituency.
It's smart.
He's very smart. Now, the man he's going against is, I wanted to check for him, is Solomon Adiola, who is an Ogun indigen and running for, I don't even understand how that works. But I think Lagos said, like it says, no man's land. Well, okay.
Studio. Sorry. Oh, let me back on. 1 second. Mics are up. Our interests are vested here, Nigeria at large. You're listening to the smoothest dial on radio. This is Smooth 98.1. We're talking sports inside of the locker room. Ade sent in a message, still talking about Arsenal and thanking God for them. He says, Tega, your analysis on Roger match was so on point. It was on the bullseye. I need to send your assessment to some people. Okay, let's send the transcript then. Kevin the Digger Man from Ikeja says, I'm not happy my man FedEx was bundled out by that 20-year-old in the 4th round when I was hoping that he would add a 7th Australian Open title to extend his record. In other news, he says Arsenal rose to the occasion as they showed Sarri that he's in dire need of a striker. Leganes wanted to spoil show for Barca and Messi came to put the situation under control. Interesting. Let's go to this next story. Unbeaten Juventus host bottom club Chievo in Turin on Monday. That's today. The team they opened their season against with a 3-2 win in Verona, looking to stretch their lead to 12 points after 20 games. Massimiliano Allegri's side currently have a 9-point advantage on second place Napoli, who face a tricky test against Lazio on Sunday.
Yes. Well, like this, I've said this league is done and dusted. It's Juventus done. The question is who's going to beat them, or who's going to be the first team to beat them. I think that's what other teams will be struggling to do. Considering the fact that the way that Juventus have played, the quality that they have, they are heads and shoulders above everybody in the Italian Serie A. Their consistency is on point, which is the question that you face with teams like Napoli and Roma. So it's totally done. How be it? What makes this interesting is that the Italian Serie A says it's a bit like the La Liga in the sense that teams come out and they play their tactical football. They don't care who they are playing against. So that's what makes it interesting. Okay. Unlike what you find in the EPL, you know you're playing against Manchester City, you adapt your style to, stop no matter the ball possession and the chances that they're creating. So teams in the EPL will play to win. Teams in the Italian Serie A and La Liga, it's not like they don't want to win, they just don't change their football because of who they are playing against, and so that's what makes it interesting. That's why the first leg you saw was 3-2. So today could be interesting. At the end of the day, unfortunately, I still think Kiev will maybe on the same side. Yeah, Juventus just won a cup. They'll be excited, and they'll come to win some more games. So.
Let's watch and see. We'll have this last message from Lukman from Ijabode.
Well, Lukman says, why did Sarri say he wants to talk to his players in Italian? If you like, you speak as a pidgin. Your losing streak just began. Last year, January, Chelsea were after Andy Carroll and Crouch. This January is again, what's the difference? Good one for United.
Alright, thank you very much, Lagos. Thank you for joining us in the locker room. And special thanks to Uncle Brutalistics for stepping in. You can find him on socials at Brutalistics with an X at the end. And Tega is at Tega Supreme I'll catch Coyote and I. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. And Ayo, thank you very much for joining us and helping us with this. Lagos, next hour is for you to talk. All right. So that number for you to call is 0144899981. It's for Lagos Talks 91. Good morning.